I look forward to seeing how the story unfolds ever so beautifully. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. The days passed, pleasantly enough. Out on the street, on my errands, I began to see and be seen. I smiled, sometimes laughed at the small boy, not more than 4, who emerged occasionally from one of the shanties and managed to spread a mat in the middle of the sidewalk on which he arranged 6 coconuts for sale. After much haggling and shouting, I would purchase one. There was also the familiar fixture, the man who rode on a wide skateboard with 4 wobbly wheels, except he had no legs. He shifted his weight forward, then sideways, and used his arms to negotiate the uneven path, which he managed at a fairly high velocity. His matted hair was chalky with dust, his face lined with worry, but his eyes were incongruously lively, and he had a broad, cheeky grin. I would follow his progress as he spotted his prey. He wheeled expertly, sometimes across heavy traffic, to come to a sudden halt, blocking the path of an unwary shopper, usually a woman, who would make a valiant effort to get around him, shouting imprecations, but the man would not give way. He, in turn, railed at her, cursing, threatening to bring down Lord Shiva's fury on her. Finally, she would give in and hand him a note. He'd grab the note, wink at me, and wheel away. At the World of Gold, a stall that opened directly onto the street, I would stop to admire the necklaces, bangles, and rings that the shopkeeper was kind enough to let me try on, even though he knew I had no money. And there was the woman in a bundle of twigs, with a bundle of twigs on her head, always in a hurry to get somewhere. Where was she going? Who was she? Once she stumbled and her twigs scattered. I helped collect them and tie them together, and when she caught my eye, her small face wrinkled into a crooked smile, and I recalled a verse by Walt Whitman that I had memorized in school. I celebrate myself, and what I assume, you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you. I loaf and invite my soul. I learn and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. Upon realization, the sage Trishanku exclaims, I am the tree of life. My glory rises like the mountain peak. My source is pure Brahman, universal consciousness. I am the sun. I am immortal, undecaying. I hum along with the blind beggar whose melodic elaborations of Carnatic ragas enchant me. He once gave concerts in great halls, he says. I sit on the street beside him, and soon I'm a coloratura soprano, sorry. I don't know how to pronounce these fancy words. Striking the high notes, improvising, trilling, composing. A crowd collects and gapes at the virtuosity of the tall white woman and the blind beggar and his lute. Vatapi Kanabatim Bhaje. In Hamsadvani Raga, I learn from him. We are an act, and the takings increase. I think back to the fundraisers in Rishikesh, where I sat next to Hari, and where I looked down with scorn on the elderly woman who expounded on North Indian classical ragas for us, while Hari kept the beat. Did I cut out for you, everyone? Something I need to repeat? Talkington said it glitched on realization. No, I'm good? Okay. Thank you for understanding. Music is the silence between two notes, Debussy said. That silence between two ohms. Om does not displace silence. Om rests in silence, like leaves on a pond. I am different now, I decide. I am better. I am healing. Was this the beginning of happiness, of understanding, of wonderment? We carried on through another blazing hot summer, where trees withered and crops failed. The monsoon finally arrived, in a rush as if late for its own wedding. People, the obese and the emaciated, and the few in between, ran out into the streets laughing, singing, and dancing. Trees given up for dead took to leaf, flowers bloomed, and insects, birds, and small creatures came alive and joined, croaking, cooing, cawing, whistling. Miss Nandi chose this joyous time to go on her annual solitary hunt for rare books, and I was left to run the shop. I had not noticed him at first. He was at the rear of a chattering bunch of foreign booksellers who were in a holiday mood, asking my opinion on this and that, eager to pick up bargains and in no hurry to leave. He stood back, skinny and pale, in a black tight shirt buttoned at the collar, tight black pants, a caricature of an assassin from a spy movie or novel. The man took it upon himself to hustle out the last of the booksellers, who looked like they might want to dally, and turned to me. I knew at once that Gerhard had sent him. These people, they always look for a deal, he said in a thick guttural accent, ruefully shaking his head. He shut the door and turned the key in the lock, shutting us in. The shop is closed, he announced defiantly. Get dressed. Herr Gerhard wishes to speak with you. Open the door at once, I mustered up a menacing growl. Or what? You call police? He curled the corner of his mouth in a laughable attempt at an assassin's menace. The old woman, we know where she is. Also her nephew. You want us to hurt them, or hurt you? He pulled out a knife, or a penknife, that I suspected he used to pick his teeth, and pointed it at me. Get dressed. I emerged from behind the counter. I am dressed, I said. He took in my kurta, pajama, and pink flip-flops, and once again produced that curling of the lips. I unlocked the door and we stepped outside. I took the key from him and locked up. We made our way skirting muddy puddles that he used for ruining his black shiny boots. The Hummer, also black with tinted windows, kept even the nastiest of the street boys at a distance. The man swung open the rear door, but before I could get in, he spread a plastic sheet across the seat, a safeguard against my unclean person. He was not an assassin after all, only a chauffeur taking good care of his employer's vehicle. I relaxed back into the plush leather, expecting a long, luxurious drive to a fine hotel, a rich industrialist's estate, or an exclusive club. But I was jolted out of my reverie when the Hummer slowed and was maneuvering carefully through the wrought iron gates of the convent. I had not been back after being denied admittance during that blinding storm a year ago. The clinic was open for business with a lively crowd waiting in an orderly line outside. The building was painted a pale blue, and on its front was an impressive sign of upraised shiny gold letters that read, Shri Krishna Clinic for Women and Children. How could Mother Gabriel have allowed this? Shri Krishna? Wasn't she here to convert idolaters? Alright, we'll pause our reading there for now. But thank you very much for listening. I look forward to seeing how this reading shall unfold as we continue. Another plot point. She has been kidnapped of some kind. Partially voluntary. Sure, involuntary. With the presumed assumption of the threat of what might happen if she doesn't come. But the convent, why return there? We shall have to see next time